everybody, my name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like. Today I have for you a fun little tag video, but first a disclaimer. It snowed a lot overnight, and there are currently some children across the street shoveling snow. So if you hear that in the background, I'm sorry. They're not super loud, but they're children. So over the last hour or so, at certain points, they have gotten very loud. If you can hear that, I apologize, but I'm still gonna come in here filming this video because I have the time to do so. Like I said, I have a tag video for you today, and it is the authortube oldie tag. I know my content is more focused on reading than it is writing, but I think I post enough about my writing that I can call myself an authortuber, at least partially. So I figured this was a good time to do this, so let's just get into the questions. There are 10 of them, so we might as well get started. Question number 1 is, how long have you had your authortube channel? And I have been making videos here for just over 5 years now. I started on October 14th, 2020, although I have privated quite a few of my older videos because I just was not happy with them for various reasons, so I don't have all 5 years worth of those videos archived, but I have been making videos for 5 years now. The second question is, what aspect of writing have you improved since joining authortube? And I would say my ability to accept criticism on my writing, constructive criticism, and to be able to turn feedback into stronger drafts. That was something I struggled with a little bit. I did go to school for writing, so I did a lot of workshops in college because that's what I was studying, and I feel like that was a good introduction to receiving critique on writing and things like that, but it was still an academic controlled classroom setting, so it wasn't until I came here and I had to kind of choose who to show my work to that I really learned how that sort of thing goes. Question 3 is, what are your biggest writing accomplishments since starting this channel? And I have published a few books. You can see them right over here on this shelf. They are linked down below if you're interested in checking out what they're all about. But I think that my number one biggest accomplishment over the past 5 years is the writing community that I've surrounded myself with. I've made so many amazing writer friends, and I can't imagine my life without them, both in a writing sense and also just in a I care a lot about them, they're my really good friends kind of sense. So I would prize that even above the fact that I've published some books. The fourth question is, has your drafting style as either a plotter, a pantser, or somewhere in between evolved or changed since you began your channel? And I have always been a plotter, but I do think my methods have changed over the years as I've written more and more drafts of books. I am very methodical with my writing process, so I have a lot of steps in my way of writing, but I do feel like those steps have changed and shifted with each story that I've attempted to write. Question 5 is, if you plan on publishing, has your publishing path plan, which is a lot of P's, meaning whether you plan to be trad published, indie published, or a hybrid published author, changed since joining authortube? And I have pretty much always wanted to be a self-published author since I learned what that was. Obviously, I didn't know what that was when I was a kid first deciding that I wanted to be a writer, so I imagined myself being traditionally published because I thought that's all there was. But once I learned about indie publishing and self-publishing and the idea that I could do it all on my own, that is what I've wanted to do, and that's what I have done with my books that have come out, and I plan on continuing to publish that way. Question 6 is, what is something writing or channel related that you've learned the hard way? And something that definitely took me a hot minute to really learn is that things take time, and the more ambitious the vision you have, the more time and effort and energy that thing will take to make it in a way that I am satisfied with. Vedid is a very good example of this. Vedid is something I've been doing for several years now, and at the end of it, every year, I'm like, that was so much effort, I can't believe I've done that, and then the next year rolls around and I'm like, actually, I do want to make 31 videos in a month again. So, yeah, definitely quite time consuming, and I'm still not the best with my time management, but I'm getting better. The seventh question is, how has authortube changed since you first joined? And I feel like authortube has kind of like exploded in terms of how many people are making content about their writing, and I think it's wonderful. There is so much going on all the time, and it's just good to see people talking about their passions and sharing it with each other. Question 8 is, what is something that frustrates you about authortube? And kind of tied to my answer for number 7, there's just so much out there, and I'm not saying that there's too much. Like, I don't want to dissuade anybody from making content if that's what they want to do. I just sometimes feel down about the fact that I cannot watch everything. I can't interact with everybody's content to the extent that I really would like to, especially in the past 6 months since I've started a full-time job that has really cut my free time down drastically. So it does get a bit frustrating when I see all of these people doing amazing things and I can't be as present as I would wish. Question 9 is, what is your hope for the future of AuthorTube? And my hope is that people remain open and optimistic about things. I want people to feel excited to talk about their writing, and I want them to be happy, looking forward to the future of their projects, because writing is sometimes a very hard business, and it does get discouraging to receive rejections on your queries or to not sell as many books as you hoped you would, but optimism is key here, and I'm kind of rambling, but I really think that those are the two things that I would want author tubers to keep in mind. And question 10 is just sharing some wisdom for any newbie author tubers out there. And my advice would be to not be afraid to talk about your projects. I personally love spoiling my projects. You don't have to do that. You don't have to give away every detail of every scene or character or plot point. But people love to hear about what other writers are working on, and they love to talk about it with each other. And I feel like if you don't talk about your writing, like you can talk about the process and everything, but actually talking about the story itself is really the heart of being an author. And I just sometimes I see that people are scared to talk too much about their projects because, like, what if people don't like it? What if people try to steal my idea? And, like, valid, but also, like, you don't have to be so worried about those things happening. So those are all of the questions for this tag. So we have now come to the end of this video. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.